Thank you so much, Jessica, and it's great to be back at the Carnegie for this event. And it's we have quite a tradition now. As you mentioned, this is 9 volumes, fewer hairs, and those are remaining grayer as a consequence. I was mentioning that to Ashley. I thought, God, when Ashley started this, he didn't have a gray hair in his head. Well, maybe 1 or 2, I don't know. It is a great pleasure to be here. And right off the bat, let me thank Jessica, not just you and your colleagues here at the Carnegie, but also our funders, the Department of Energy, NNSA of the Department of Energy, which has been a stalwart. That reminds me, by the way, the Department of Energy became interested in this program 10 years ago when former Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, John Shalikashvili, and some of us presented to them suggesting this kind of annual assessment was needed. When the book came out last week, I got a copy, and a few of us got advance copies. And of course, the first one I always take is down to John Shally, who lives south of Seattle and is as perceptive about global events as ever. So I had fun presenting this to him, and he passed along his regrets that he can't be here today. But I can assure you, incidentally, here's something kind of fun. A little digression here on Shally. His papers as chairman are going to remain with the Department of Defense, but his other papers are donated to NBR. By coincidence, the historian for the Joint Chiefs over the last 16 years just retired and moved out to the Seattle area, and was the historian when Shally was chairman, and Shally would have him sit in on great meetings so that the historian himself could see it live while it was happening. And we plan on mining those times, those papers, to tell stories that hopefully pertain to our understanding of the world, not just then, but tomorrow. And we have this happy coincidence of the historian in that period of time in which we don't have the papers, living out there and working with us. So anyway, the 3 of us got together and had a great time. It was the first time John had seen this gentleman for some years. All right, well, that's a big digression. I apologize, but the Strategic Asia program has quite a history, and John's part of that from the very beginning. Now, in addition to NNSA, I want to thank the Bradley Foundation, which has also been a stalwart supporter since the beginning. Of course, always the Henry M. Jackson Foundation for its support of NBR and even founding NBR. This year's volume, as Jessica said, and as Ashley will say, could be on no other topic, really, than the major new force, the major kind of disruption to global events of the past 12 months. It pertains, of course, to the financial and then economic crisis that followed the financial crisis. And what the meaning of these events is for U.S. interests in Asia, for relations in Asia, for individual countries, but for the most part, U.S. interests in Asia. Obviously, those interests today overlap all of our interests. They have to do with our security, our prosperity, justice here and abroad, and so on. I mean, the full spectrum of American values now are wrapped up in our interests in Asia. So the volume is timely and it's gigantically important, and I urge you to read, in particular. It's a long volume. Look at the executive summary, which is now in a smaller, more compact version than it's been in the past. But I urge you to read, especially Ashley's chapter. If you start reading it, you will be sucked into it because he raises just the gigantic issues that are at stake today. Issues of how we organize society, the economic basis of society, from that to whether or not America is going to be able to lead effectively in the years ahead. And as a consequence, what international relations will look like. No less is at stake. So anyway, that's just all I'm going to say at this point. But thank you so much. And let me just, I guess, in closing, remind everyone why we do Strategic Asia. I mean, the rise of Asia and of China, of India, of other parts of Asia are altering the center of power in the world system and international relations more generally. The concentration of power in the Asia-Pacific is a fact now. There's not going to be some theoretical Pacific century. It's now, it's happened. The locus of power, no matter how you measure it, by GDPs, by military budgets, by the importance of actors in international affairs, by the importance of foreign policies, by any measure, the Asia-Pacific is now the center of world power, not the Atlantic. This was the reason we saw that we established Strategic Asia 9 years ago, and it couldn't be more important today. One of the questions is this financial crisis accelerating that trend? Has it caused a short-term change in this, medium-term outlook for this? We'll be addressing those issues. But anyway, at this point, let me turn this over to our master of the universe here, the master of the master of all these issues, Ashley Tellis, to whom we owe so much, and who once again has produced, I think, one of the finest volumes we have to date. Ashley.